Of horror stories about parents getting out of control and even violent at Little League games. But now one town is trying to put the fun back.
A father takes his daughter to Central Park to take pictures of them. But park rangers, believe it or not, put a stop to the amateur shoot thanks to let's call it a failure to communicate between them and the park office. That's when Howard Thompson got involved, and he's here now to sort all this mess out.
Jim, thank you very much. Big misconnection going on right here. Disconnect, I believe the term is. David Arcos says photography is his passion and his hobby. So just imagine how upset he must have been when the Rangers in Central Park told him he wasn't allowed to photograph his children. To make matters even worse, even after he was told it was a mistake, it happened again.
Smile. Nice. Why should I be prohibited to enjoy my hobby like everybody else does?
Good question. This is David Arcos, design teacher, father, and amateur photographer. It all started back on Memorial Day. David took his two daughters to the Central Park Conservancy to photograph them in the new dresses his mother had sent from Miami.
Beautiful.
Everything was going fine until a park ranger showed up and told him to break down his equipment and stop photographing his own daughters.
I say why? I mean, you know, I understand if it's a professional shoot and I have models and makeup artists to go and get the license. But I'm photographing my family. I'm photographing my two daughters.
David's oldest daughter didn't react very well to the ranger's presence.
And it ruined the afternoon. You know, I can't photograph her all hysterically crying and she didn't want to and all that stuff, so we left.
And it happened again on two separate occasions.
The ranger comes from nowhere and he says, sorry, you can't take pictures. You can't open that tripod here. And in that occasion, he said, well, you ruined the turf.
It gets even stranger. David went to the park ranger's office and they told him he shouldn't even be photographing the statues in the park because they are copyrighted.
Well, if it's copyright art in the park, in the public park, then put it in a museum.
David, did anyone from the Parks Department ever give you a piece of paper or a list of rules and regulations defining what you can actually do in the park as a photographer, as a private citizen?
No.
Undaunted, David returned to the Parks Department seeking a clarification of the law.
I spoke with a person, Adam Kaufman, from the Central Park, and he said it's sort of a misinterpretation of the law because this should apply to a commercial shoot. And the next time this happened, just mention Adam Kaufman to the park ranger.
You know what's coming. It happened again.
Did you mention Alan Kaufman's name?
Yeah, and she didn't know who he was for a while.
Clarification time. Doug Blonsky is the Central Park Administrator and Chief Operating Officer for the Central Park Conservancy.
But if somebody comes in with a tripod, taking pictures of their kids, it's absolutely allowed.
Then why has David Arcos been stopped on 5 separate occasions by the rangers in the park and told to disassemble his equipment and stop taking photos of his own children?
Yeah, I'm not sure, and I think, you know, that's something that we will talk to the rangers about. Possibly they were blocking an area where other people were walking, but I think people are very protective of the park, particularly the activity on the weekend makes it very difficult. And I think maybe, you know, the rangers are just being a little bit overly protective.
Okay, for the record, David is allowed to photograph his children in Central Park. The park is there for people to use it and enjoy it. The only time a permit is needed for photography is when it is a commercial production. And once again, officials have assured us they will speak with the rangers who work in the park on the weekends. If you have a problem, you can send me an email at helpme@tribune.com or call my hotline at 212-210-2490. Jim and Katie?
And is that true about the statues? Taking pictures of the statues?
That is not true. When I asked Mr. Blonsky about that, he said, I've never heard anything like that before. That is not true. You can take pictures of statues. They are not copyrighted.
You would think so.
I just think there's obviously a big misconnection going on between the generals in the barracks and the troops in the field.
But now they're talking.
Okay, let's hope so.
Okay.
All right. Straight ahead tonight on the News at 10.